Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The federal government says it's released 200 million naira for the management of Ebola virus disease. WHO expresses satisfaction over the management of the Ebola disease in Nigeria. American government promises total support to INEC to achieve Commission's desire for a credible election in 2015. And President Obama describes the beheading of a U.S. journalist as an act of violence. And just to remind you that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. And we urge you to interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and then follow the instructions. The United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. James Entwistle, says the U.S. government remains committed to ensuring that the 2015 general election in Nigeria is free and fair. Mr. Entwistle, who spoke at a meeting with officials of the People's Democratic Party in Abuja, also appealed to Nigerians to avoid acts that could incite violence during the polls. And on his part, the chairman of the PDP, Amadu Mwazu, pledged that the party will work to achieve credible elections as exemplified in the W.H.O and Ekiti governorship elections.
The United States supports the Nigerian people in their quest for the credible and transparent election that they want and that they deserve. That's what we stand for. And as part of that, we try to be in touch with all parties, to understand all parties, so that we can be as educated and knowledgeable about the electoral process here as we can. One of the things that perhaps you've noticed I've been doing quite a bit of with the media and as I travel around this country is to talk about the importance of nonviolence in elections here and frankly in democratic elections anywhere in the world. And I've been encouraging potential candidates from all parties to commit themselves publicly that they will not encourage or foment or engage in violence before, during, or after the elections. I think that's a crucial element in any democracy.
The latest elections that have been held in both Ekiti and W.H.O states are a clear testimony of the commitment of our leader, the President, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, in providing a very cordial, peaceful environment for an election before, during, and after election. And that is why, against the prediction of our enemies, indeed by experts, and for the sense of history, the very place we held elections recently, both Ekiti and W.H.O, are known to be very turbulent politically. We were able to hold a very peaceful election.
Now, staying with the conduct of elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission has criticized the use of masked security operatives during elections. The chairman of the commission, Professor Atahiru Jega, said the presence of masked men capable of scaring the electorate during the polls. Professor Jega made this observation at a meeting with members of the Nigeria civil society groups in Abuja, the nation's capital.
The success recorded in the just concluded Osun State governorship election is no doubt another plus for the Independent National Electoral Commission. This meeting, organized by a coalition of the Nigerian civil society groups, is aimed at reflecting on the Osun election and examining the preparedness of the electoral body for other elections ahead. The chairman of INEC, Professor Atahiru Jega, attributed the successful conduct of the elections to the new strategies it adopted, including early distribution of materials and commencement of voting processes. While recognizing the critical role of security personnel during elections, The INEC boss and members of the civil society groups condemn overzealousness and the use of masked security operatives during elections.
We did observe that the civil defense and the DSS deployed masked security men during the elections and even before the elections. And for us, it is very worrying because of the negative impact it has on turnout of people, because of the fright on people.
The remaining challenge, of course, is that of overzealousness and excesses, which quite often exhibit in the field. I think one major disturbing thing for us, and I have started raising it with the security agencies, is that for the first time we have seen more visible presence of hooded security men. And we felt that it's not good, that if security people are going to be deployed in electoral duty, transparency requires that they are identifiable.
Others advocate that INEC should set a process that will eliminate physical presence of personnel before things are done properly in elections.
People are right to ask that question. Can you do this in 2015 when you don't have the luxury of these numbers? But I'm thinking that the election process is about putting frameworks in place. And so if these frameworks are institutionalized, you don't need like 5 people maybe to monitor a polling station. You need just one person because you already have a system that is working.
Meanwhile, INEC has expressed confidence that elections in Adamawa are scheduled for 11th of October this year, and the 2015 general elections will be better than both the Ekiti and Osun State elections.
Away from politics now, the new head of service of the Federation, Dandari Kifasi, has been asked to strive to improve on the standards set by his predecessors in the federal civil service. President Goodluck Jonathan gave him the charge at his swearing-in just before the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting. Also sworn in was Mr. Chima Odunze as the commissioner representing Imo and Abia in the Federal Civil Service Commission. The President charged them to instill discipline and proper conduct while carrying out their duties, insisting that there must be high standards set for those in service if they must succeed.
For any government to do well, the civil service is the fulcrum, is the center of activities. And for us to succeed as a nation, there will be absolute discipline and proper conduct in the civil service. That is why our jobs are quite challenging. But from the antecedents, people, both of you are quite conversant with the operations of the civil service. And we believe that you bring a wealth of experience to bear as you manage the civil service. People must handle government affairs as government affairs, not personal. My observation with people from the little period I've been working in government is that a number of people handle things based on their own thinking, not based on what standard practice. There must be standard practice, and your own experience will add to that to make you succeed.
The Lagos State Judiciary has a new chief judge. She's Justice Olufumilayo Atilade. At her swearing-in ceremony today, the chief judge emphasized that her tenure will focus on decongestion and speedy dispensation of cases by utilizing alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, which are an integral part of the state's laws. Our judiciary correspondent Shola Shoyeli reports.
Judges, magistrates, judiciary staff workers, members of the Lagos State House of Assembly, executive members of the Lagos State government, royalty, family and friends are here to witness history being made in the Lagos State Judiciary. This oath-taking is historic because for the first time there is a succession of women judges as chief judge for 3 consecutive times in the Lagos State Judiciary. More importantly, it's the first time in the judiciary that one sister is handing over to another. And the Lagos State Governor believes that the era of innovations in the judiciary will continue.
For our immediate past chief judge, Honorable Justice I. Phillips, She has kept her word on the commitments she made about reforms. She leaves behind a truly reformed state judiciary. But as you go forth, the people of Lagos also very warmly welcome our new Chief Judge, and we look forward to even more groundbreaking reforms, because we believe that a fruit does not fall far from its tree.
In her acceptance speech, the new Chief Judge, Honorable Justice Olufunmilayo Atilade, promised continuity and reformation, especially in the areas of welfare, which will end the workers' strike in the state, more infrastructure, which will end the present method of court sharing among magistrates, and an increase in the number of judicial staff to facilitate quick dispensation of cases, among other things.
God willing, my tenure shall be a time of emphasis on the following issues: decongestion of the courts by utilizing mediation and alternative dispute resolution (ADR) system in Lagos State. Another very important area of emphasis is the speedy dispensation of criminal cases. I shall therefore place much emphasis on ensuring completion of criminal cases within the shortest possible time.
Justice Atilade was called to the bar in 1976. She became a judge of the High Court of Lagos in 1996. She's 62 years old and will retire in September 2017 when she clocks the mandatory retirement age of 65. Shola Shoyele, Channels Television News.
Well, rural fishing communities in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria, are groaning as a result of what they describe as neglect by the government. They say the high cost of fishing equipment and seeds, lack of credit, shortage of transport facilities, and poor amenities is threatening their livelihood. Our community report tonight looks at the plight of the fishermen in Ibejuleki local government area of Lagos.
Now you're talking.
Fish and other seafood like lobsters, prawns and shrimps are important sources of nutrition for man. The Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations ranks Nigeria on its top 10 list of countries where fishing is a vibrant business, with an estimated 313,000 tons of fish captured annually. One would expect that with these statistics, anyone involved in the business of fishing should be living in splendor. And so Channels Television went on a trail to see how those who risk their lives at sea are faring. Our set takes us to Ibejuleki, a local government in the Ekpe area of Lagos State, southwest Nigeria. On arrival at Okunshe, a cluster community of about 1,500 people, it is clear we're in the right place. This community has been in existence for 100 years, with the young, old, and buried sharing space. However, the imagination of finding the people in comfort is quickly dispelled as thatched huts and half-constructed buildings litter the place, with no evidence of proper amenities, but for this well these children are drawing water from. We meet up with W.H.O, a former fisherman who quit the business 3 years ago to become a land agent. To show us why, he offers to be our guide for the day. We make our way to the beach to catch up with the fishermen before they set out for the day's activity, and luckily we get one just in time. W.H.O explained the hardship connected to the business.
This occupation of ours is a viable one. Our fathers and their fathers have been taking care of their families as it is a good investment. But all what we use in the trade are too expensive. The engines we used to buy from between 200 and 350,000 are now 750,000 to 800,000 naira. Those who used to own 3 to 4 boats now are reduced to owning just one. And some don't have any more, like me, because there is no money.
Next, we pay a visit to the local school, which is anything but impressive. The only done-up building in this place is the toilet, which is a communal effort. The others are dilapidated structures, which serve as the principal's office and a classroom for learning. A daunting atmosphere here, no doubt, but the children here are upbeat. One of the traditional leaders in the community laments the situation.
This school is not conducive for the children. We fixed it ourselves, and one day the roof caved in on one of the children. We are appealing to the government to help us. Also, when anyone falls ill, we have to travel far distances to get medical attention, as the clinic and maternity centers here are poorly maintained.
Back at the beach are fish traders who lie in wait for the fishermen to return in order to purchase immediately. Upon return, business is conducted quickly, as there is no storage facility in place, and this compels the fishermen to trade at giveaway prices. A kilogram of fish, which could be won, sells for 700 naira. Some, however, feel the pain of the fishermen and call on the government to support.
It would be so good if they can really encourage them by supplying them the machine they use, and they give them money at least to develop it. It will go a long way, because they are just only trying human efforts. Most of them do contribution to achieve all this, but if government can give them loan, it will go a long way to help them. At least it's part of poverty alleviation.
This child is being introduced to the harsh realities of this community and will certainly seek a better alternative if asked. The sea holds within it abundant opportunities, and it is the hope of this community that their dreams are not washed away. Orolu Ashenibare, Channels Television News.
Etisalat, now you talk.
When the news at 10 returns, economists give a breakdown of July inflation figures. That's on Business News. Do join us again.